What a game. This week is absolutely cooking up some ridiculously good football for us to watch, right? We've had Tottenham, Chelsea, then literally last night, 7-goal thriller, Manchester United, Copenhagen. I honestly didn't think things could get worse for Manchester United. They are in such a bad position. Ten Hag is definitely under pressure. Things just aren't going well, and they do not look like Manchester United. They don't even look like the Manchester United that we've known for at least the last few seasons on and off. This is the worst I've seen Manchester United look. And do you know what? It's not because of the football they play. Last night, there was periods of time where I thought they actually looked pretty good. They were moving the ball well. You can see what Ten Hag was asking them to do. I think the Ajax comments the other week are ludicrous. Stop buying Ajax players if you can't play the football that you played with Ajax. That doesn't make sense to me. Half of his recruitment seems to be of players that would have fit that mould that he had at Ajax. He's got it all to do in terms of the dressing room, in terms of leadership, in terms of how he sets his team up in difficult positions. This team doesn't want to fight anymore. There's that cliche where you speak about losing the dressing room. Well, I kind of believe now that Ten Hag's probably lost that Manchester United dressing room. After last night, where Manchester United on 2 separate occasions managed to concede within 4 minutes 2 goals. They threw away a 2-0 lead. And look, I know they had a man sent off, and I know the refereeing's dodgy, and let's not get started on refereeing at the moment across the board. The standard is probably the worst it's ever been. But Marcus Rashford leaving that pitch definitely didn't help the situation. But there's nothing about that Manchester United team that represents Manchester United anymore. They didn't want to fight to hold on to that 2-0 win. They didn't want to work for their teammate who's been unfairly dismissed from the game. For now, the reason's being revealed, an arm rather than the foot. It's ridiculous. He was trying to shield the ball. There was no intention there from Marcus Rashford. He never deserved to see red for that, to be honest with you. I've looked at it again in more detail today and looked at the reasoning that the referees have given, and it's a ridiculous decision. But Ten Hag has failed to motivate his Manchester United team and instruct them on how to maintain their lead, or at least limit the damage, to then concede 4 goals throughout the match from that position, even with 10 men, even if they had 11. What is going on? It's not Manchester United. And that, for me, is the reason that Ten Hag has to go. I'm not sure where they turn, if I'm being completely honest with you. I don't know what the options are. What I would say is maybe it takes a dressing room clear out. Maybe they have to be as strict and as harsh as they need to be when it comes to some of these players in the Manchester United dressing room, because they've been there a long time and they're not achieving. Look, we saw that at Chelsea and they had a massive clear out, and one of them's ended up at United and he's not really doing much. And it just kind of shows you that these players, you're always hoping for them to get to the level that you want or return to a level that they once had, when actually, if it's not happening right in front of your eyes, it might never happen. And sometimes that's the cutthroat reality that you have to take, especially when you're Manchester United. And you know what? With the arrival of Sir Jim Ratcliffe, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw the end of the Erik Ten Hag era at Manchester United. It's bad. It's really low. Do you know what? It's a shame, because yesterday they actually played good football. How can one of the top scorers of the Champions League have the record that no matter being at the top scorer charts, being at the top, his team have lost every single game? It's ridiculous. Everyone that he's played in, he's managed to score, get himself to the top of the top scorer charts. What is going on? I can't believe that we're talking about Manchester United in this crisis or in this position again. When they got Ten Hag, I genuinely thought they'd found their answer. And you know what? I actually think he's a good manager, and I think he'll succeed in other places. The problem Manchester United have right now with their team is this dressing room manager relationship the power that some of these players have by the ludicrous wages they've been put on. And when they're on those wages, the pressure is on those players to perform, but they also understand the power that they have, that they might be bigger than the manager, and they don't need to respect his decision because they will outlast the manager at the club. And right now, that's where Manchester United are. Whoever is in charge of the sporting decisions at that club, when Sir Jim Ratcliffe comes in, I'm sure will be instructed to either do one of two things, and it will be to address the situation and remove players that haven't been performing, or it will be to remove the manager first. Because either way, it's a toxic relationship that's there right now. And Manchester United are in a bad place, and they're not the Manchester United that they should be. And off the back of last season, I didn't think we'd be having this conversation. But when you look at who they've signed, I'm not surprised. They didn't address key problems in their squad. And we've touched on that before, but Amrabat hasn't really had a chance. He was signed injured. He's not really got up to speed yet, and I'm pretty sure he's barely played in his position. Højlund's a young lad. I see a lot of rawness in him. I'd probably rather have him than Nicholas Jackson right now. But he's not your answer right now. Come on, it's Manchester United. You have to be signing world-renowned players. And the fact that you've missed out on Harry Kane is absolutely ridiculous. Look at him. He's absolutely flying on 19 goals. For me, Manchester United and Harry Kane was a match made in heaven. And you know full well that in the Ferguson era, that deal would have happened. There wouldn't have been a chance that it didn't. Ferguson had the best players in the league on lock. As soon as he knew this player was level that Manchester United require in their talent, they would be at the club and the deal would be done. And you know what? That's something that Manchester United are lacking right now. They're signing players who are prospects. They're signing players who are young and mouldable, but they're going into this toxic dressing room where the bad apples have already poisoned it by the time these players get in. And that's what we're seeing. We're seeing these players follow the lead of the toxic players rather than the manager. And that's where this is all breaking down. And for that reason, I think Ten Hag has to go, because it's just not going to work. Unless they are willing to back Ten Hag and have a huge clear out that we've seen the likes of Chelsea do, I just don't see it working between Ten Hag and Manchester United. That's not to say I think that Ten Hag's a bad manager, but there is a problem here because somewhere the communication's breaking down, the instructions aren't being followed, and Manchester United are in a bad place. And for a club like Manchester United, we know that can't continue. Where their options lie, I just don't know. But they have to be smart and they have to make the decision that whoever they're to bring in, if Ten Hag is to go, this manager he cannot be a disciplinarian, because I believe that's what Ten Hag is, and that is your problem at Manchester United. The players in that dressing room will not accept a disciplinarian because life becomes too tough for them. They need someone who gives them an easy ride, like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And that's why they never wanted him to go when Ole was at the wheel. Look, weird times for Manchester United. Where do they turn? I don't really know. But this relationship with Ten Hag, I'm pretty sure it's over. And if I was Ten Hag, I'd be hoping they sack me. I'll see you in the next one.